It's not every year that Apple claims to reinvent the notebook. The first big movement in Apple's history was the trackball, then Trackpad, then built-in Wi-Fi, then we saw the dawn of premium notebooks made out of aluminum. Next was the lightest and thinnest notebook in the world. After that, we saw the age of the Retina display in the MacBook Pros, and in 2015, we saw the next age of notebooks, ones that are radically thin that leave legacy technology behind for the future. That was the 12-inch MacBook, a notebook severely underpowered yet loved by so many tech guys and girls here on YouTube, including me. Now, the end of 2016, Apple has reinvented the MacBook Pro with the new MacBook Pro with something called Touch Bar. But the Touch Bar isn't the only new thing. Its design has adopted many of the technologies that are found on the 12-inch MacBook. It's now thinner, lighter, and smaller in volume than the last-gen MacBook Pro. It's quite the piece of art. However, is this really what we call a Pro notebook in 2016? Well, let's dive into this full review right here at PhoneDog.com. The first thing to mention is the size and design. The new MacBook Pro is nearly a quarter smaller in volume. Its length, width, and depth have all been shrunken down, which results in one of the most stunning designs for the MacBook Pro. In the department of weight, the 13-inch model weighs 3 pounds, or what the current weight of the 13-inch MacBook Air. The construction has adopted the MacBook's design direction. It's now completely made out of aluminum, the hinge is all metal, and so is the entire casing. The hinge is more fluid than before and allows for one-handed opening. On the sides, it has new slots for ventilation, which are larger than before. Now, on the inside of the shell sits the new keyboard. This uses the same mechanism switch as the 12-inch MacBook, although slightly improved and has added travel. This keyboard is lightning fast and happens to replace my love for the old-style chiclet keyboard found on my wireless Apple keyboard and the previous generation MacBook Pros. The travel is just right and it makes a very satisfying click on each input. Right below that is this new massive trackpad. If you've guessed Force Touch, you are quite right. The new Surface is about 2 times larger than the last generation Pro, and it's a dream to use. The palm rejection software is on point, and it feels as fluid as it could be. I even like the more dampened haptic feedback because of a larger trackpad, though I'm sure you couldn't keep your eyes off this little touch strip right above the keyboard, but we'll get to that a little later on in the video. The next big improvement is the new display. While the resolution and pixel density hasn't really changed since the inception of the Retina MacBook Pro, the color gamut, brightness, and clarity certainly have. This is by far the best display Apple has put in their notebooks. The brightness alone is enough to warrant an upgrade for me. If you spend as much time as I do editing videos, browsing, and working on your notebook, then the display is a pretty big aspect of your use. When compared to the 12-inch MacBook and the last generation MacBook Pro, this new display is amazing. The next big change to speak about is I/O. As professionals, we use a lot of accessories. Whether it's for data transferring, data storage, musical instruments, you name it, we love connecting and disconnecting things to make our lives easier and better. Well, the MacBook Pro has made an executive decision that may add some chaos into our world. The only ports you'll find on this new MacBook Pro is USB Type-C, or now known as Thunderbolt 3, and a 3.5mm headphone jack, a pleasant surprise for once this year. 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports comprise the available I/O on this notebook, so if your accessories rely on older legacy ports, get ready for dongle life. #courage. Now, I can get over the lack of any other ports other than Thunderbolt 3, but the fact that there is 0 SD card slot is crazy. I use SD cards as my main medium for recording and transferring. Now I have to carry one of these, which I will admit isn't quite as bad as a dongle and about 20% the cost, but still. Now let's talk hardware. This is the base model 13-inch MacBook Pro with Touch Bar. It costs $17.99 and comes with a 2.9 GHz dual-core Intel i5 processor, 256 GB of super fast SSD flash, and 8 GB of blazing fast 2133 MHz RAM. On the graphics side of things, Integrated graphics is the best you'll get from a 13-inch MacBook Pro, and this one packs the Intel Iris Graphics 550, and that is the only option for the 13-inch MacBook Pro with Touch Bar. While its benchmark scores may be a little underwhelming, the 13-inch model has some decent performance. Editing a 4K video in Final Cut Pro is a breeze for this machine. It may stutter a bit if you have a lot going on, like multiple grades, text, and effects on a clip, but it's only apparent when the MacBook Pro is still rendering in Final Cut Pro. And the great thing is for Final Cut Pro users is quick sync exports through compressor are lightning fast. I'm still getting faster than real-time exports of 4K video through compressor on relatively high 16 megabits per second H.264 codecs. All in all, the 13-inch MacBook Pro has a sufficient amount of power to tackle most tasks, but if you do a lot of Adobe work like Premiere, After Effects, Photoshop, or Lightroom, a 15-inch Pro will suit you a lot better. But how does this Touch Bar play into any of this? Well, right now, it really doesn't. The Touch Bar is this sliver of an iPad that sits right above the keyboard. It has multi-touch and acts as this dynamic surface that will display controls depending on what you're doing. So far, it's nice to use throughout Safari, especially when watching videos because it becomes a scrubber. Also, in Photos and Final Cut Pro, Apple has really built the use of these things. But other than that, I don't really use it other than the occasional volume up, down, or brightness adjustment. So perhaps it's just too early to have a definitive judgment on the Touch Bar right now. All I can say is it's nice to use, and I can see the potential in the future, but right now, there is basically zero backing from third-party developers, and that will change, just not overnight. So the new MacBook Pro, a laptop for professionals? No. A laptop that Apple believes it's for professionals. Now it's all up to us, the people who need machines with this type of label. Do we give in to new technologies or do we stand up and ask for our legacy tech back? So far, it's Pros 1 and Apple 0 because Apple decided to drop the price of adapters and the LG Ultrafine displays. We all know that change is going to be difficult, but it's definitely necessary to change and go forward. This one was just a little too bitter to swallow this time. Though that won't change my buying decision because I was definitely in need of a new notebook to work on, and well, I'm here, I have one, so that's that. I'm definitely interested in hearing what you have to say about these new MacBooks. Are you down for Dongle City or no? What are your thoughts about this new MacBook Pro? Make sure to leave me your answers below in the comments. Also, if you like this video, give it some love and hit that like button below. And if you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button as well. And as always, my name is Marco Hanna, and I'll catch you in my next video.